Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Garrett DJ Juice with a special video. This video is going to cover my top 15 finds ever, at least for collection number 4. So, for those of you not aware, this is my 4th time going at a collection like this. My very first collection was back in the mid-80s. I'm 44 years old, so back in the mid-80s, I was into the Ataris, the ColecoVision, the Vectrex, the Game & Watches, a lot of the tabletop arcade games like Pac-Man and Galaxian. All that stuff I had, along with Gen 1 Transformers and Star Wars toys from the 1970s. Lost all that when my mom failed to pay for our storage unit. So a lot of that stuff either probably got auctioned off. So whoever caught that locker in the mid-80s is one lucky mofo. So the second run at a collection was close to, when I was in high school, and so I started collecting for the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo, and then the TurboGrafx 16 came out, the Atari Jaguar, Sega, the Sega Genesis. So a lot of stuff from that era. I started collecting, I believe the Atari Lynx as well. Just a bunch of stuff from that era, and then I sold all that stuff to put myself through college. So that was a pretty good choice. I have no regrets on that. The third collection was a bunch of like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PSP, a lot of imported stuff. There was a lot of imported stuff. The DS Lite, the DS, when the DS came out, I had a lot of the imported DS systems because I was really into like the different colors and everything. Same with the PSP. The PSP had some awesome color variations for their consoles. So that and the games, I also modified a couple of my PS2 systems to play imported games. Just a huge fan of PlayStation after the Nintendo, so that was pretty much it for me. And then I sold all that stuff just to kind of prep for my move here to Colorado. So when I got to Colorado in 2010, it took me maybe a half a year to finally get the gaming kick in again, and then discovering the flea markets and all the thrift stores around here. So all the stuff that I'm covering is just the top 15 finds in no particular order. That I've, of games that I've found in the wild, whether it's through a deal on Craigslist, whether it's, something from a thrift store or a trade with a friend that was a really good deal. The reason why I'm doing this video is because I saw a video that was done by Retro Remix Nation. Their video featured like just the best find ever in their whole career of hunting or whatever. So they featured like 4 different hunters that said, hey, I found like a Tron Bond for like $2 at a thrift store, and this other guy said I got Earthbound for less than $1. So I'll leave a link to Retro Remix Nation's channel in the description below. So check out their channel. It's pretty interesting. They're pretty funny. But the reason they kind of influenced me to make a video similar to theirs, except this is covering the top 15 finds ever. At least, since I've been in here in Colorado. So we'll start off with a Super Nintendo lot that I got for $50. And the backstory behind this was, there was a guy selling a Secret of Mana loose cart on Craigslist, and I didn't want it because it was priced too high. And then I went to the flea market in Denver, and then on my way back home, he asked me if I was interested, and he dropped the price. So I was like, sure, how much do you want, for your game? He said a price. I went to meet up with him. I went in his house. He had a lot more games, so I offered to buy more games, and then he just said, give me $50 for everything. So, but anyways, I got Demon's Crest. Now, he said he looked this up on eBay, and it was worth about $7, so he charged me $5. Don't ask me why he thought that or what he was looking at. I have no idea what he was looking at. Maybe he didn't even look it up. But this is complete. So this Demon's Crest, Breath of Fire, Maximum Carnage, Secret of Evermore, Ultimate Mortal Kombat, and Final Fantasy III. So I got this plus, what was it, the Secret of Mana, and I think one more loose cart, all for $50. Another two good finds that I don't have anymore. I sold them. It was a loose Tron Bon disc and a snatcher for the Sega CD disc, and I got each of those for 17 cents. There was a video game store called Video Game Exchange that had a huge, like, you know, clearance sale because they shut down eventually, and they were doing like 12 games for $2. So I was just digging in boxes and everything, you know, finding random loose games, and happened to find loose Tron Bon and snatcher. So I already sold those, so those are no longer in my collection. But for 17 cents a piece, definitely happy. My friend, who was also with me during the sale, found stuff like Gunbird 2 loose disc. He found Night Trap, or was it Popful Mail? I can't remember. But he found more, you know, valuable loose titles than I did. I mean, I also found like Mega Man Legends 2, Mega Man Legend 2's loose discs, and a Mega Man Legend 1. So, I mean, I did find some other things, but he found like Project Justice loose, you know, for 17 cents. Crazy. From that same video game store, and I don't know what the guy was thinking when he did this, but I guess he needed PS2 consoles. I guess they were pretty popular. So I came in there one day and I had a PlayStation 2 Fat, and I said, you know, I wanted to trade. I saw this sitting in the back, behind the counter, and it's a sealed Star Fox 64. It's an actual seal, factory seal, and I traded my PS2 Fat with like 5 games that I got. I just got it from the flea market, tested it out, it all worked, and that's all he wanted for this. Go figure. I think this is like 150 bucks or something, but factory sealed Star Fox 64. Ridiculous trade. Alright. Next up, where is it? Oh. Next crazy find is this Jurassic Park Operation Genesis for the original Xbox. I found this at an ARC off of Uinta, and it was just sandwiched between a bunch of games. I took a picture, sent it to my gaming channel saying, can anybody spot the gem? And they were like, oh crap, Operation Genesis for the original Xbox. So this was $3.99. It was a pink tag, $3.99 item. Crazy for this title. And it is complete, 100% complete. Really, really, really crazy to find at a thrift store. I had a loose one that I got outside of a pawn shop. Guy charged me $3 just for the disc, and this was like in Denver, you know, a couple of years ago. But this tops it because it's the actual whole complete package. All right, next crazy find. I know you guys have heard me mention Entertainment so many times. They always let me in the back to check out what, you know, is getting ready to go out on the floor. One time I went there and I found a sealed copy of Godzilla Save the Earth. I think this peaked at like 200 brand new. At the time when I got this, it was like $200 brand new. Probably because a movie was coming out. I think it's dropped considerably, but still, a sealed Godzilla Save the Earth. To me, this is a crazy find. Because this is an awesome game too. Me and my stepson, we play it whenever we have a chance. It's just a basic beat 'em up game, and you can use all the monsters and stuff. So I do have an open copy of this, but I have a sealed one at $9.99 is what I paid for it. It's crazy, and I found like Fatal Frame 1 and 2 there for the same price, $9.99 each. Just a bunch of other crazy titles there. But anyways, 10 bucks for that. Next crazy find. There was a store that specialized. They bought storage lockers and they sold everything real cheap to, you know, to get their money back quickly. And then they raised their prices like months later. So I was glad to get this while they were still kind of like, you know, noobs at the whole game pricing stuff. But I found a copy of Grindstormer for the Sega Genesis. And look at that price. That's how much I paid for it. $1. I kept this one, and the other ones went the way of trades or was sold. So that was another crazy find. $1 for that. Real crazy. Okay, anyways, next up. I don't know if you guys remember the crazy RPG lot that I bought off my friend. But the most exciting part of that lot was not all the beautiful RPGs for the PlayStation 3, PSPs, and all that, but it was this Pokemon box, the outer box. I bought the Pokemon box game years ago off of Amazon at a pretty good price complete and everything with the memory card. But this was like the hardest thing to find, period, at a really, really good price, and I just couldn't find it. So one day, this guy, Lauren posts on my channel, says, "Hey, I just bought this for 10 bucks, buy it now off of eBay." I was like, man, that's crazy. And so he doesn't have the game, but he just loves Pokemon, and for the fact that he paid 10 bucks for just the box is ridiculous. It's ridiculously cheap. So when we did the trade, he knew that I was looking for that, for this forever. So he just threw it in as part of the deal. I don't even think he counted this towards like the $2,000 that I paid. So this was basically like, I think, a freebie thrown on top, just for me buying the rest of his stuff. But the outer box for Pokemon box. And it's in real mint condition as well. Alright, so years and years ago, I went to a yard sale, and there was a woman that was selling a bunch of games for $2 a piece, no matter what they were. It was like Xbox 360, PlayStation 2s, bought a bunch of stuff from her, and I asked, if she had any like older games, and she said, yes, I have a bunch of Nintendo games. Super Nintendo games. So I was like, okay, cool. And she also said she had some Game Boy original games, and everything was $2 each though. She said, I'll honor the $2 per game price. And so I was like, okay. And she was like, I will, send you pictures later on. I left her my number. She finally sent me some pictures, and my jaw dropped. I was like, wow, okay. And she's like, yeah, I know some of these titles are worth a lot more, but since I told you $2 per game, I'm going to honor that. So I was like, sweet. The reason why I asked if she had older games was because I noticed a yellowed Nintendo in her garage, and she said she's keeping that. That was like the family Nintendo system and everything, so she wasn't selling that. And she didn't sell me all the games. She only sold me a few that the kids never played with or whatever, or just ignored or whatever. So when I came back to pick these games up at $2 a pop, I gave her a clean conditioned Super Nintendo and just gave it to her. Said, here you go. Now you guys have something, that you guys can keep in your family, and it's a lot better condition than the one, because the one that they had was, had holes in them and everything in the console, just from it yellowing and getting brittle. So there was a lot of stuff that I ended up selling, but these are the titles that I kept at $2 a piece. Very, very happy. So Super Punch-Out, Super Bomberman 2, and this is not the one. You'll see another Bomberman game in here from another top 15. So Super Bomberman 2, RoboCop versus Terminator, and this is an awesome box. It's that, looks like the chip for the Terminator. Awesome box. And then the Action Replay 2, which is pretty uncommon for the Super Nintendo. When I saw this, I was like, oh, I didn't know much about it, but when I looked it up, I was like, wow, that's pretty pricey. So that's it right there. Very uncommon item. It's in really, really good condition. All these carts and boxes were in excellent condition. There was a bunch of other ones that I got, but unfortunately I traded those off a long time ago. I mean, this was like in 2011. So, actually that was one of my first good deals, being out here. Alright, so, if you guys haven't already seen, my uncle from Hawaii was going to post a bunch of stuff on Craigslist to sell. I intercepted it, and I told him to sell it to me. We argued over the money, and then I ended up sending him 80 bucks, which included the cost of shipping, and he sent me just a bunch of stuff that him and my dad used to own. So this is probably like the best find, period, out of like all the rest of the 14 that I'm about to show you, because there's a lot of family sentimental value to this. I know I'm going out of order and everything, but it was Bomberman, Zelda, which my dad owned, Xenogears, Super Bomberman 2 with a note in the back, from my uncle, Geist, and a sealed Resident Evil 4 for the GameCube. Mega Man X, he just gave me the loose cart, but I had the box and manual, so I just completed it. So Mega Man X was part of that. Mega Man X2, all the Mega Mans, Mega Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And finally, the creme de la creme, complete Mega Man 7 in the box. So that was all 80 bucks. I tried to send him more money, but he would not take it, and he told me not to argue with him, so I was like, okay. But I guess he was happy with 80 bucks because he didn't send that back to me. So next up, at the flea market, and there's a guy that sells video games with the pretty old sun-faded stuff. So one day he brought like a ton of like manuals for games, and he only wanted 25 cents each for each of them. And so I picked up a bunch of good ones. I'm not going to cover all of them, and this was one of them. Stunt Racer for the N64. This manual is really, really clean. I mean, no tears, nothing. I mean, for those who don't know, Stunt Racer was a Blockbuster exclusive title, and it's actually a pretty good game. And it's really, really hard to find the manual and the box. And luckily, I have the box too. So that I picked up like a long time ago at the video game exchange place that closed down. So that was another good find. Stunt Racer manual for 25 cents. Just crazy. Alright, so next up, I'm going to show you a really quick clip or picture of this $20 N64 lot that I got that had my first Sculptor's Cut ever in it. So as you can see, there were some primo titles in there, and the Sculptor's Cut that I got in that lot was torn. There was a little tear in the front label, so I was kind of disappointed. So that didn't really leave me too attached to it. I was just happy to get it. I played it for a little bit, and then I shelved it, and then I eventually sold it on eBay for like $150. It was like a make offer kind of thing. Some guy sent me an offer for $150 plus shipping, and I said sure. I took it. So that was a pretty good lot. I mean, 20 bucks, and that was a random yard sale too. I went to this one yard sale that I saw on Craigslist that advertised a bunch of Sega and Nintendo games, and when I got there, I missed it by like 10 minutes. So I was kind of bummed out. So I kind of drove around, and then I saw another garage sale that had just a bunch of pink clothes out in front. It was a bunch of kids' clothes for girls. So I got out anyways. I asked the person if they had a anything Nintendo or older for sale, and the guy said, "Wait, I think I had a roommate that has a Nintendo 64. So let me go ask him." So brings out the box with the system and a bunch of games. I cherry picked a bunch of games, and he said 20 bucks, and I took it and just took off. And then the next day I went and got the system and the rest of the games. So that was pretty cool to get Sculptor's Cut in that whole lot for 20 bucks. Alright, so the second Sculptor's Cut I found in a $300 lot, and here's a picture of that. So as you can see, that one wasn't quite the $20 lot like the other one, but I'm very happy to get a cleaner Sculptor's Cut. No tears in the front or back labels. I made my money back on that whole lot, so this was free. I used some games that I got from another lot that day to help pay back the cost of the entire lot for this, and so yeah, I mean, I pretty much got this free after everything was said and done. And I kept like the Mario parties that were in there. There was a track and field that I kept, which is also a Blockbuster exclusive, and I think one other title, I can't remember, but glad to get Sculptor's Cut again in cleaner condition. So that was another highlight find. Alright, next up, this is not a huge deal, but it was half of what it goes for. I was at Entertainment Mart, and there was a Mega Man X3 there priced at $100, so I bought it. So very clean label and everything. I took the cart apart because it looked really clean, like too clean. So I took the cart apart and verified the board, but I kept the price tag on there because that's pretty cool. I mean, this is like a $240 game, and to see it at a retail establishment makes this a pretty good find. So I still don't get why they only priced this at $100 bucks. I mean, Mega Man X3, pretty good find, even though it was at a retail establishment. So, all right, we got 2 more to go. So we'll start off with this. I've already covered this in the video recently, actually, maybe 3 videos ago. But I bought a huge Sega Genesis lot, and I paid $350 for it. There was some negotiation back and forth. The guy threw in like 2 N64 systems. I think there was a regular Nintendo in there as well to sweeten the deal. But a bunch of good titles in here, like Burning Force, Gaiares, Final Zone, Valis 3, Castle of Illusion, and Sector X, the only oddball game in there, NBA Jam TE, Strider, Fantasy Star for the SMS, Yeez, and R-Type. So those were all in there, and this was why I paid $350 for everything. I mean, this game here alone is about the cost of a lot. So I sold the N64s, the NES, there was some Sega CD discs included in a lot as well. So I did some moving around with money and pretty much got Musha for free in all these games. Pretty much got Musha in all these games for free. So, very happy with that one. Alright, so finally, the last great find of being here in Colorado. And that is this Nintendo NES bundle that I got. It's a Rob the Robot bundle. I got from a yard sale on my way to work for 150 bucks. He wanted a little bit more for this, but I explained to him that, you know, at a yard sale, you know, you're not really going to get many people willing to pay that much. So we eventually talked down to $150, and it included 7 games in the box plus like 3 loose carts. And I'll show you. Do I still have a picture for that? I don't think I have a picture for that. But what makes this bundle unique, and what I did not know until like a year and a half after I got this, is the fact that this is the New York test bundle. And the reason why this is a New York test bundle is because there is no family here. Picture of the family here playing, you know, the console. That's gone. So that's one indicator. The other indicator is a low serial number. So this console actually came with a serial. I'm gonna go grab it in a second. It came with a low serial number, and I think it was a smooth finish. It's not the rough finish. It was either rough or smooth that determines whether that was part of the test kit. But I talked to a couple of people in a few gaming channels that know about the test kit, because apparently there was some other guy trying to sell his for like ridiculous amount of money, saying these are so rare. There's only a few made, and I was like, I just got one at a yard sale pretty cheap. I guess it's not that rare. There's a bunch of these out there, but it came with some games in really clean condition. And the weird part of these games is the fact that it has the retail hanger in the back. So I'm not sure if these were like first run complete in box titles or not, but all these are complete and they're really clean boxes. This guy literally took care of his stuff. He was military, so he was just getting rid of it because he rarely played it. So Ghosts and Goblins, got Castlevania, Tetris, Ikari Warriors, Super Mario Bros, Super Mario 2, and Xanac. There was a couple of loose titles, like 3 of them, I think. I ended up selling those a long time ago, but that was included in the game bundle. And if you guys just hang on a second. So this is the styrofoam. Pretty much everything that came in that kit. So this was a dead giveaway, because I think only the New York test kits have these bundled in the bundle. So it's Gyromite and Duck Hunt, and if you put them side by side like that, you look in the top, there's like a label, a sticker that says Nintendo on it. That's how these were bundled up. It was just pretty much sealed with a sticker. So these are brand new. Also the manual, poster, all that good stuff. And yeah, this is a smooth finish Nintendo. Very clean, looks like it was rarely played. And the serial number on this is 49,360. So this is a low serial number. So this is actually the system that came in this whole test kit. I'm not sure how much the test kit's worth now. I've seen a few with the boxes in horrible shape, you know, some pieces missing or whatever. I think I seen like $400 or something, but you can't put a price on this because this is just an awesome bundle. I mean, he took care of it. The styrofoam's a little rough, but everything's there. You know, all the gyros are still in there with a little caution on there. Rob's hands and everything are here. Everything's just clean, nothing yellowed. That's still in the plastic. That's the power brick from the Nintendo. The zapper. I mean, just everything's so clean. And to get it for 150 bucks with all those games makes probably this the second best find ever. So that's pretty much it for my top 15 finds. Sorry this video dragged, and like I said, my number one find being here actually came from a family member. So all the Mega Man stuff, that was my number one find, because there's a lot of sentimental family value to it. And then my number two find would have to be this test kit, because I wasn't even aware that this was a test kit until I took a picture of it and someone said, hey, do me a favor, look at the serial number of your Nintendo and I'll tell you what you might have. And so I did, and they were like, okay, you have what they call the New York test kit. And they went into details, and I was like, what? Didn't even know that. So I guess these are pretty uncommon. So that would be my second best find. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Once again, check out Retro Remix Nation's channel. The link to his channel is below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. Other than that, happy hunting and peace.